Items to be considered in the absence of the public and the press. Anybody identified any items for that? Stuart?
Yeah, can I have that item 10A go into confidential session? It's about outstanding projects, but it does involve a lot of contractual and legal advice issues. So I think it's only appropriate it goes in so we can discuss freely.
Okay.
That's my proposal.
Right. Any other items? No other items. Do you want to take a vote on that now? I'll take it when we get to it. There's only one item, so we might. Do you want us to take it now, or wait till we get to it? No problem at all. Okay. Parish Council meetings to receive and confirm the minutes of the Parish Council meeting held on Monday, the 18th of March. Anything on page 1? Page 2. Page 3.
Can I just raise a issue? Oh, that's a page, well, 3 to 4.
Right, great. Page 3 and 4.
Page 3 at the bottom, it says planning application 0371 application very condition. The council did resolve to object the application. I've been on the website at the weekend, and if we put an objection, it's not currently showing on that planning application. Do you want to check? Yeah. It's just that, as I say, I went and had a look, and there is one on from a resident, but I know we did resolve to object, but if it's been sent,
But they've just not uploaded it yet. Great, thanks, Clive. Anything else on 4? 5? And we're done. Okay, thank you. Proposer and seconder for those. Thanks. All those in favour? Thank you. Sealing of documents? None? Great. Governance matters. So obviously, as you are aware, we have a casual vacancy for the Parish Council. So we need to discuss, or I think we probably just need to agree, process for filling that vacancy. So Chris has a proposal that the candidates come to the next Parish Council meeting and make a brief presentation.
What we agreed at the last meeting is that the deadline for written applications would be 2 weeks before the date of the May meeting of the council. That's as I recollect, it's the 6th of May. We've had 2 written applications this far. We've had several other people ask for information about the positions, and more may follow. What I need from you is a steer about whether you just want to consider...
Can I ask members of the public to silence their mobile devices, please?
Or you just want to consider written applications, or whether you want to invite those who have applied to the May meeting to give it a short, perhaps 3 minutes, presentation as to why they applied to the council. I just need to steer sort of either way so that I can go back to those who applied and let them know what will be happening at the meeting when we take the decision.
That's generally how we've done it in the past. So take Miles.
Well, I was going to propose that we invite the potential councillors to the meeting to a 3-minute presentation like we have done in the past.
And do you want...
May you do it?
Candidates, or will you just receive the presentation?
We've asked questions before. Not only limited.
By the Parish Council's record, actually, those co-option meetings have been fairly fruitful. Diane?
I was one that talked. It was a presentation, all candidates presented to the council, followed by questions if necessary. The council then adjourned and came back and did a public vote.
Agree with that, Stuart?
Yeah, I just want to... What the format before was that the potential councillors used to stand up, give a quick 2 or 3 minute speech. We'd ask questions if it was appropriate, and then we all used to get up and go in the back room.
That's what I've just said.
And yeah, but just let me finish. So get in the back room and we'd have a discussion. But we had a lot of problems before where some councillors were refusing to go into the back room, and it was causing a lot of animosity, I think it was. So could we possibly look at a situation? I think, am I right? I'm looking to the clerk via the chair that we have to vote in public.
The vote, I would advise, should be in public.
And go to public.
But the discussion as to the merits or demerits of candidates, I think it's reasonable to exclude press and public for that.
Could I suggest, maybe, so for discussion is, what we do is, we listen to the 2 to 3 minutes or whatever speeches from the candidates, that's the word I was looking for. We ask questions where appropriate. But instead of then going into the other room into confidential session, that we leave it at that point. We then go into confidential session at the end of the meeting. We make our decision, and in the following meeting, that's when we vote and announce the candidate. Does that seem reasonable and feasible, or is there
In
problem?
terms of procedure, I don't think there's any reason to do that. Right.
There's no reason to defer it for another meeting. I think what I would advise, if you're going to ask questions, is that you ask the questions, you then exclude the press and public, have a discussion, then bring the public back in and do the public.
That's all right. I ain't got no problem with that. I just thought, rather than break the meeting up, it might flow a bit better, but if that's what we want to do, we'll do it the same way then.
Okay, let's do it. So we've got a proposal on the table from Miles, which is basically that we give a 2 or 3 minute speech per candidate. We can ask some questions of candidates, and then the council will vote. You didn't specify whether it was in private or in public. But are we happy? We got Diane and Ben wanting to come in. But does anybody second that proposal?
I'll second.
Okay, thank you, Diane. Ben.
Yeah, I think it would be the candidates, as far as I'm concerned, are going to have to wait to know the outcome. And I think it would be inappropriate for that to happen. If it was an election, they would know on the day, so therefore this is no different, and consequently I feel that they should know on the day.
Right. Okay. I mean, whether we want to have the presentations from the candidates immediately before our excluding the press and public, and then we come back into the meeting at the end of that, we could decide on the evening. But I think it's important that they know on the day. Ben, did you want to go? Brilliant. Clive, and then
Yeah, can I just say we've had a variety over the last few years, because sometimes we've had more than one seat available, so we use a different method because there have been perhaps 5 or 6 candidates, but 4 seats we've support 1 or 2 seats. We've done the sort of elimination process, but this again depends on how many you get. So if you finish up with say 4, I don't know how that's slightly different to 2, because that would be a straight whatever.
If we're in that scenario, I will write you a sheet that explains the process.
But it does,
there is a process.
It change obviously, does it? But I agree. I think we should tell people on the night, and I've not got a problem with that. But I know we used to do it when I was in the council. Really, I think when somebody got up, they used to do it with ticks, and it was put in a thing. There was no sort of like raising hands and stuff like that. It was done in like a secret ballot. So it was sort of, depends how many you got. It was still done in public, but you didn't know who voted for who as such.
I think isn't there a requirement to have the vote recorded?
It was done that way, but people didn't want to. So we need to see how many we've got at the end of the day.
Okay, excellent. Can we vote on that proposal? I think we've had enough discussion on that one.
Can you just read it again, because it didn't actually say we're going to confidential session in the proposal.
But the council can resolve to go into confidential session whenever it
The
wants.
resolution, as I understand it, is in addition to receiving the written applications, we'll invite them to give a presentation up to 3 minutes, and then we'll ask them some questions. Once that's finished, then to council so wishes, they can exclude press and public.
Great, thank you. All those in favour? Thanks. Consider renewing membership of YLCA and the National Association of Local Councils. Probably a fairly straightforward one here. I think Miles was there just slightly before Stuart, actually.
I'm just going to refer because it's been because it's been quite useful. Because it's been quite useful these past few years, I propose that we renew our membership.
Okay, anything that you want to say on that?
All I'm going to say was, we do get a lot of advice from Yelp, and also we get advice from the National Association of Local Councils. It's not cheap, but I personally, having sat on the executive board, I think it's definitely worth the money we pay. We could even use their services even more if we wish. So that's why I've seconded the motion.
And without wanting to speak for the clerk, are you happy that we maintain our membership from your side of things?
Need money for the electronic.
Exactly. They provided us with a. One would hope that the clerk made the decision himself. Excellent. It has been seconded. All those in favour? Thank you. Because the reimbursement costs for printing. Okay. Was that you? There was a hand up. He did actually this time. He did have his hand up just before you.
said I put it on, that's why.
You put it on.
I was going to ask why.
Why? Okay. In that case, Stuart, would you present your proposal?
Right, I'm asking to consider reimbursement of printing costs for members of the press, right? If I remember rightly, we haven't agreed as a council that we would start receiving electronic agendas and electronic paperwork. And I think it's just sort of filtered in over time. I think Michael tried it and there was no objections and it's carried on. So what we have a situation at the moment is that I think the majority of councillors are receiving electronic agendas and paperwork. I know there's some that do have hard copies. But what it's actually done, it's transferred the cost of paper and ink from the council onto individual councillors. Now, I've got a stack of paperwork like that I've printed off myself this year, and there's lots more that I haven't printed off, so I'm quite sure councillors have got more paperwork than I have. Because the costs have been transferred to us now, I would suggest that we should be reimbursed. We don't get paid, we volunteer for what we do. And I'm asking now that the council reimburse individuals who receive electronic copies by £50 a year. And that will cover the cost of your ink, printing ink, and the cost of the paper.
Okay.
People who get hard copies obviously wouldn't be entitled to it.
Does that have a seconder? Just check before.
I'll make a proposal that councillors who agree and receive electronic agendas be reimbursed to £50 per year for paper and ink.
Okay, great. And Diane and Ben wants to come in there.
If you consider the fact that originally all of these notices were being delivered by hand by the workmen, and that was an afternoon's work by the time they had finished doing that. As far as I'm concerned, having them electronically is far better, and with a request to the clerk, I have always had printed documents if I have asked for them.
And Chris, are you happy to provide those if councillors need them? So the clerk's happy to say that if anybody really wants a printed copy, he'll provide that. Ben, are you happy?
If that does happen, then that's the way to go. But the point I really wanted to make was there has been a cost saving to the parish by receiving items electronically, and there are not. The trouble with using it electronically, and you'll see I'm doing it at the moment, is flicking between different documents. Unless you have a Windows 10 laptop and you can tabulate each item and flip between them, but on an Android device it's exceedingly difficult. So therefore, hard copy is quite frequently required. Even more so with meetings where we're referring back to various items, and you need witness the folders which some people bring. In my own particular circumstances regarding the cemetery project, the amount of paper is increasing dramatically as a cost that falls to me. I think we should take note of how local borough councillors receive remuneration for expenses. They receive, I think, somewhere in the region of 12k per year for expenses overall, than £50 a year, for the increasing amount of bureaucracy and legislation which is filtering down to the lowest tier of local government. That £50 is probably about the right figure at the moment.
Chris points out that he would need receipts for anything claimed. Clive?
Can I just say, I mean, I appreciate what Ben said, because if you're dealing with a sort of project like he is, you're going to, and it is an onerous one, there's a lot of paperwork involved, and you're going to finish it pretty, so I think from somebody's point of view like that, if you submitted an invoice to the clerk for, say, if you use like a ream of paper in about 3 months and a couple of cartridges, then I think I would have a problem with that on an individual basis. I mean, the way I work is that I go through the electronic copy that's sent, I make any notes that I think are relevant, I get a hard copy down here and I just look at what I've written and transfer it to that. And I also bring usually the last 2 or 3 months hard copies, so we've got this Ben says to refer back to. It's much easier doing it electronically, and you've got all your notes on them, everything. So it's what's best for how people want to work. But I fully support Ben in that respect, where if he's using lots of paper and lots of ink, then if he puts an invoice into the clerk and it's a reason, then I haven't got a problem with that. But I would be against everybody getting £50 allowance. And just to clarify,
Kevin, can I ask you to silence that, please, or I will have to ask you to leave. Stick it on eBay. Right.
Could I just correct Councillor Bentley's assertion that the Borough Council get £12,000 a year allowance, which is wider than that.
The stipend is about that, isn't it? 11,000, isn't it?
He's had that job for a long time.
The favoured many. Anyway, without wanting to get into that, Stuart, Miles, you've already spoken once. Is it really?
On this.
Okay, fair enough. And then we'll come back to Stuart for his.
I was going to ask, a while back we talked about a sharing system, a digital sharing system that we could all log into and get access to that. When that's set up, access on your pad and things like that should be really easy using, because it's PDFs that you send, isn't it, digitally? Just click through.
But accessing it when you've got to go into files and then bring it back again.
Because maybe...
Referring to something which isn't on the pack or that
Because training might be a thing as well.
I think without.
Say it.
How do I put it? How do I put it? I think we probably, as a parish council, need to be mindful that we've got a range of sort of age groups and IT literacies amongst us. But I mean, personally, I'm quite happy to have it on an electronic device.
Yeah.
But Chris has said that he could print it. But yeah, good point made. Are we going to go back to Stuart?
Just quickly, just to reassert what Graham says. Councillors who already get hard copies, there's no obligation to change that. But if you're receiving hard copies, then you wouldn't be entitled to the £50 reimbursement. It's purely to pay for the councillors that are printing their own electronic copies out. But as councillors, we have to be, should we say, honest about it. So if you've agreed to receive electronic agendas, etc., well then, then you're in receipt of them, you can't really expect to be coming and asking for hard copies of meetings. So
Okay.
That's it.
Thank you very much. I think we've probably had sufficient debate on that one. We've heard different viewpoints on it. That proposal is seconded. All those in favour?
Just so, I understand that you're agreeing to allow each councillor up to £50 a year of printing related costs on production of receipts.
Yeah.
Still happy to second that?
But if you pay an individual council a sum of money, I would expect they should be received.
Yeah.
Great. He just wanted to clarify the receipts portion of it.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Right. Okay. All those in favour? Against? Okay. Pause.
That's fine. Do you want us to do that again?
4.
5 forward.
1, 2, 3, 4, 4 the proposal, and against. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that falls.
So what's going on now is I'm going to start requesting hard copies and deliver it.
Yeah. I think go back to where we were.
But
Yeah, we got the same outcome there.
An electronic version, like you can pick a hard copy up on the night, sure.
Yeah.
You can read through it before you come to the meeting. Like I
a big project, it should be able to play.
Well, I don't disagree with
Okay, ladies and gents, let's move on, please, to 8, Planning and Highways Matters, RB 2019-0337, 11 Magnolia Close. Make no response?
No, leave that to the planners, because the planners do look at, like front porches, they looked at for this, you said the streets, what do you call it, street scene? Comes back to the planners.
Okay, so proposals to make no response, seconded. All those in favour? Thank you. RB 2019-0373, single-storey rear extension, conversion of garage, 49 Edinburgh Drive. Same as above?
Same again.
No response?
No response.
Proposed.
That we
Seconded. All those in favour? Thank you. RB 2019-0466, demolition of existing rear extensions, erection of a 2-storey and single-storey rear and single-storey front extensions, 39 Orchid Way, South Amston.
again, I
Good-
don't
good luck with
acknowledge
the-
the
good luck
denial,
with the
so
planners, I
yeah,
think, Clive's
I'd leave that
saying,
to the
yeah.
planners as well.
Yep. Make no response. Seconded. All those in favour? Thank you. And 0477, single-storey side extension and a veranda. Very nice. To the rear, 3 Rackford Road, Northampton. Same response. Unless anybody.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice
Proposed.
view from there.
Can I
Right?
just
Yeah.
have a
cemetery.
haven't seen this.
Not Rackford
Where's
Road.
the Rackford Road? No, is that the post
Short
office?
number 1.
Is it the post office or next?
It
No,
is. I think it.
Mhm.
The others are
I
bungalows.
can't recall. I think it could be a semi actually.
There's 2 semis and a bungalow to
Yeah.
start off, and a bungalow and 2 semis to start off.
The steep path, yeah. Okay, so that was proposed, it was second, I think. Niles, all those in favour? Thank you. 0494, dwelling house and detached garage, 13 Woodsets Road. Okay, both of you wanted to speak on that one. Clive and then Diane?
Well, no, you had it on the first time. You live on Woodset Road.
Yeah, this has already had a planning application for 3 properties, I believe, in their back gardens. I'm assuming this is now elapsed, or if that's the correct word. It is a building with a garage that has got living accommodation above it, and it only says on the plans a garage. When you actually look at the plans, there is living accommodation above the garage. The building itself, the construction of it is black tiled and cedar, which is totally out of keeping with the rest of the road, which is red brick and red roofed. And it's a single dwelling in the garden, which is behind the present building, and I doubt whether there is access down the side of it for emergency vehicles.
Okay, is that something that you want to make a proposal now?
I'll see what Clive says.
Okay, Clive?
No, I was just going to say, we've had a few of these on Woodset Road over the time. Diane's right about the materials used. It is although there's nothing set on there, so it is slightly different with it. It's not brick, etc. But I looked at my main concern was the height of the building, and it's massive. It is quite a large, imposing dwelling. I know there were 3 got approval before, but that's either lapsed or this is a totally fresh application. And as I say, my concern is like that about access down side of the property, but they would have to have it wide enough for emergency vehicles, I would have thought anyway, and that would be looked at by planners. But as I say, my main consideration is the size and scale of the building in the backyard. It's quite large, and particularly in relation to the properties on back onto the Oval, Stuart.
Stuart?
And the adjoining property to it. So my view is I will write just expressing comments, but not necessarily objecting to it, but expressing my views on it to planners.
On one side of it is a bungalow, on the other side of it is another detached property.
Okay,
The
Stuart?
bungalow's been an infill.
Yeah, just, I think, from a planning perspective, because they've only allowed outline for 3, I would suggest they would probably allow outline for 1. There is precedent because there is other buildings being built in the back gardens down there. or along that road. So I think what Diane's saying is we should have, well, do we need to make an objection? Do we need to make a
Shall we comment?
about the outward appearance that's not in keeping with the surrounding area? That might be
Character, size and materials used in construction.
I think making comments is fair enough. I don't think there's any hard and fast objection.
I don't think putting an objection would actually make a difference because the precedent's been set. We could certainly make comments about the outward appearance of the building. I'm not sure.
For the purposes of are we happy with that discussion, Clive? Would you be able to provide some wording for the clerk?
I'll try. We've got time to do it, but we can basically just, as I said, it's basically expresses concerns about size, scale,
Construction materials, yeah.
The detached garage is not just a garage, it's a dwelling as well.
Yeah, I would just say that in the title.
Yeah.
If I express that as a neutral comment rather
Yeah.
than
with
opposition.
an objection. Yeah.
Great. Okay, we've got that proposed, seconded. Thanks. All those in favour?
Can I just say, my big objection to all these is I seem to remember the government several years since saying they were going to stop up with back garden planning applications. They've not done anything like it. We've gone all over the place, and it is actually causing a lot more problems and decided to put a stop to it.
Great. Okay, so that is all of those done. We've got Councillor Jepson. So is this the Woodsets Against Fracking? They've got the crowdsourced fundraising. Do you want to tell us a bit more?
Yeah, if I can just, I presume everybody's seen the email that was sent to the clerk. And
Gentlemen, can I ask that you please keep the noise disruption to a minimum?
I will declare an interest at this moment in time because I've supported against fracking, not financially, but attending planning board meetings and supporting, etc., etc. So all I was raising was, would the council consider actually giving some financial support to the Woodsets Against Fracking group? They are a properly constituted group, and actually I think we're standing up for all of us around here, along with Hartlepool Against Fracking, because we never know, it might be on our doorstep next. It's very close, and there's nothing to say that we're not going to be immune to any of this. So all I was asking was, would the council consider making it, or as I said, it's properly constituted groups. I don't think there's anything legally to stop us doing that. We can do it, we'll do whatever powers we've got. It was really just ask what other people's views were. Say I've been to the planning board meetings. At the last one, the Borough Council withdrew one of his main objections to the INEOS application, which was on traffic grounds. They voted to object to it at the meeting last year in September, in September. But having looked at it again, they decided that from their point of view, they're not going to pursue that as an objection, so that's been withdrawn. Woodsets Against Fracking have got under Rule 6, I think it is, that they are a third party, so they're entitled to carry on with their objections, and one of their grounds is still traffic. Now, anybody that knows Woodsets and the surrounding area, including Amston, will know what it will be like if that actually starts down. It's going to be horrendous for everybody involved. And his Artil that's going to be inquiry and being passed. Marsh Lane at Killamarsh has been passed.
They've started
so
already.
We've got two already in the area. And as I say, it's up to members whether they want to consider giving some financial support. I think they're looking to raise £20,000 to pay for a barrister and other professional advisors when the inquiry opens. And so I put it on to members to consider it.
Brilliant. Stuart, Miles, me, Ben.
So my next.
Yep.
Sorry to say this, but I don't think we should give any financial funding to what is in effect political grouping. Right, as a council, we've made a public, should we say, statement via a resolution that we wouldn't allow any fracking on parish council land. As councillors, we're here to look after, should we say, Ansford Parish. There's two sides to every story, and if we were to give a donation to the fracking group, if then anybody else who was in favour of fracking, then we would also have to give the same amount to them. So I think as a council, it is a political movement in the sense that these people, a lot of people in these groups are not from this area. So I think as a parish council, I think we should stay strictly neutral in this issue. So I won't be supporting giving money for that sort of
Thank you. Miles?
I think I do agree that we need to support them, because it won't just affect Woodsets, because it can go in a big circle. Is it a mile in any direction? So that can reach here, this building. We might end up with a bigger sinkhole than we've already got. I think if we make a decision in this council, it shows that we are, as a council, against it, which I think the majority of us are anyway.
Sorry, gentlemen, can I ask Kevin, please? If you, I mean, I can hear you with my ears from here, so please don't talk amongst yourselves, or we will have to ask you to leave.
I did want to ask, actually, because I did hear about that, the withdrawal of the road disagreement. I didn't understand the logic behind it, why it was at one point agreed. Am I allowed to ask? Sorry, if Clive...
I'd rather us not get...
Okay, well, I would support it anyway. I think we should actually, instead of just giving to them, we should ask them what they need, and then decide on vote on what they need then.
Kevin, can I ask you to leave?
Yeah, no, I want to stick
Thank you.
Support somebody else and you make you pay for your own groups in village. Bunch your assholes.
Thank you. Miles, have you finished?
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Councillor Mansion, question.
I would rather have...
Well, it's
No.
to do with translation.
I promise. Councillor Mansion, you have to answer the question.
Yeah.
As far as you're aware, have Woodset's Parish Council donated to this fund?
Yes.
Yeah, I support the use of the hall as well, so
Okay, that's all I need to know.
Thank you. I was going to agree with Miles and Clive. Actually, I think it is worth supporting them. We haven't discussed exactly how much. We have said in the past we've given them free use of the hall, being mindful that as a parish council we've got the power to spend for the benefit of some of the parish, or all of the parish, or at least part of the parish. Then I would support at least expressing our support for Woodsets.
Chairman.
Ben, it's your turn.
Thank you. No, I thought you were summing up then.
No, I was summing up my opinion.
Okay. I'm sorry, I can't support this. It's there's a reason, I suspect, behind Rotherham withdrawing from the concept of contesting it, because it's fighting a battle that can't be won, really. I'm not aware of any fracking proposals in the country that have been overturned. We contribute to this. I'm sorry to use an awful metaphor, but we're pouring money down a black hole in this particular instance. So I don't feel that I could certainly support it.
Okay, thank you. Colin, and then Diane, and then Clive. We're back to Clive because he was the original proposer. Colin?
Yeah, I was just going to say this Woodsets against fracking, I've got to admire them that they've put up an admirable fight over the past 2 years against all the odds. And in passing, this movement in there shows up the hypocrisy of the tree huggers and polar bear lovers who don't appear to have donated a bean. All the climate change protesters are quite happy to let Woodsets against fracking stand on their own, and I think it's entirely wrong.
Thank you.
I just would like to support them. If this was on our back door, then it would be a different story, I'm sure, from the council. These people are looking at the village of Woodsets, and that could impinge on us if fracking goes ahead. Traffic on Woodsets Road is horrendous when there's an accident on the A57, let alone when there's more traffic due to this. And quite honestly, the state of that road, I know it's due for resurfacing, but that's going to be another major road through the village to this site, even though they say it's got to come off the A57 and go through Woodsets. They're not going to do that in Cloud Cuckoo land unless they can't get underneath the bridge. And as far as I'm concerned, we need to support all of their endeavours, and I don't consider this a political group. I consider this a group that is looking after the welfare of the village.
Okay. I'm conscious that Phil and Glenn haven't said anything. Is there anything you want to say before we go back to Clive for summing up?
Don't have to say.
No, I won't
No?
just ask them first.
It's a tough one, isn't it? I think we should support them, but not financially. Let them know morally we're with them, standing with them against it, but I can't see.
How much has Kevin Pan donated?
I think Bennett first did best, putting money into something that, legal representation is not going to win this battle for Woodsets.
Okay.
So give them moral support, but I don't see it's going to contribute money.
There is a strategic need as well.
I concur with that. I mean, I think first of all, it's just in keeping it brief. It is a tricky one. You know, I think that we are certainly in favour of supporting them. Regarding obviously the financial cost of that, I mean, a figure of 20,000 you mentioned, is there a matter of asking us to support them by, have they actually made a suggestion to us? I mean, the statement says to consider it. Well, I am considering it, but it's not something I think we should make a decision on tonight. I think it's something that should be looked further into, and I think I agree. Give them support. This is something, I mean, I think the majority of people are against fracking, but as we say, at the end of the day, we all thought about moving out of Brexit, but that's not happened yet, has it? I think there is an element of sarcasm here, is that at the end of the day, it seems that whatever people seem to want to do in this country will do it anyway. I think the fracking will probably still go ahead. Whether or not we invest £100,000 in it, I think that fracking will still go ahead. I don't want to see it go ahead in this area, but I don't want to see it go ahead in the country, but it's going to. So I think it does take more than just saying, okay, we'll contribute to it. I don't think the contribution will stop it. And I think that it should be more of a, as we say, a local government, rather than Metropolitan Council, looking at are they supporting against any form of fracking. I think it should be an RMBC support group here, so I'd look at this and actually appealing against it, saying we don't want fracking here, but I haven't seen that before. So if they are, I'd like to see it. But, you know,
Okay, can we go back
whether
to...
it's making a local financial commitment to that would make a difference, I doubt it would. That's only my opinion. I doubt it would.
Can I just clarify a few?
Can I just ask you to clarify a few bits? Because obviously you made a proposal to support them, but a sum or how we should be...
Well, I was contemplating a financial support towards that £20,000 that they're trying to raise to pay for their barrister, etc. I think this is only my opinion, but I think council's taking a short-sighted view. I think we should support them in whatever way we can fit, and I think just saying we support you is not worth discussing it. They're doing it on our behalf as much as anybody else. I know they're cited in Woodsets, but you have to bear in mind, if this was in Anston and we went to Woodsets against fracking and said, would you support us after this, they'd say, they can get stuck, they're not bothered. And I think they're actually fighting a fight on behalf of people in this area. Just to correct what Councillor Bentley said, Rotherham Borough Council haven't withdrawn from it, they've withdrawn that one objection. They're still objecting on environmental grounds and health grounds, so that one is still going to be fought at the public inquiry. It's just that they don't consider. Now this is the planning officer's recommendation that has been accepted by councillors, but at that meeting it was the planning board, i.e. borough councillors, that voted against this application. The borough council as a whole has not allowed any fracking on borough council land, but when a planning application comes in by law, they have to consider it, and they have to go on the planning officer's recommendation. I think twice on this one, Woodsets have refused, even though the planners said they would grant permission. So the councils have made a stand on the planning board, to be fair, and they have done a hard deal. And this is, to me, this is the thin end of the wedge that's going to happen at Woodsets. If they find that there's enough reserves there, and they start actually to extract shale gas from there, then I'm telling people now, beware, because this area is going to be under siege. It's going to be awful, and I don't think people are quite aware. Because INEOS aren't bothered what they do to these areas, as long as they can get them there. If they're not bothered what it costs, they'll carry on and extract it. But whether they ruin an area, they're not particularly bothered. And I think we should support them. But if people are against that, then that's fine. But as I say, you have to bear in mind that if the vote was on the other court, would we go to Woodsets and ask them to support? We probably would, because we're all in this area together. So you can't sort of separate Anston and Woodsets. They join on the hit like Diddington, and we are in Kivett in Wales, Todmorden. We're all in this area. So, I mean, that's my view. If other members who don't want to support them financially, then that's fine. But I'll leave it at that.
We would. Do we have any sum in mind?
I don't know if anybody wants to make a suggestion.
Can I just make an observation? We just suggested at one time to give each of us £50 in an allowance.
We voted against.
I know, but that was a suggestion. Nobody batted an eyelid at each one of us having £50 initially. Right? Which was, as Clive just said, £700. And to now say we're not going to financially support another parish, I find really objectionable.
Okay, right.
May I
Ladies and
ask
gents. Okay, we're running a risk of starting arguing over this one. We need a proposal. We need a sum of money. I mean, I can put a proposal on the table now. £400 sounds like a reasonable contribution.
I thought there was a proposal on the table, and now you said there's not. So
There was a proposal. There was a proposal on the table, but there was no sum of money.
So I can speak again.
If you wish.
But just quickly, we should go through them. Let me just say, all we've had tonight is negative attitude about fracking. There is two sides to every story. And I'm not sticking up for it because I am really convinced it's safe yet. But from the reports I've seen, they're estimating there's something like 1 trillion tonnes of potential gas. Now, even if they only extract 10% of the sum that's there, it would be bigger than the whole of the gas production that's currently being used in North Sea for the last 40 years. If it goes to plan as they're estimating, the gas prices will come down, but it's also been hinted, and I believe it when I see it, by government, that if they say to find gas in a certain parish area, then parishes would benefit from the extraction of that gas. I believe it when I see it. So it's not all doom and gloom about these things. And I do believe sometimes that these fracking groups and these environmental groups, they're allowed to put their opinion by all means, but I think there's a lot of unfairness when the other side is never given a chance to say what they think. So that's one of the reasons I'm not supporting it, is because it's a one-sided argument, and it could potentially have massive benefits, even for Woodsets if there's gas there. But that just seems to be ignored all the time.
Okay, ladies and gents. Miles was pretty desperate to come in, and then can we move to the vote, please?
Last year's budget for the actual community group donations, there's quite a lot left, isn't there? So there's not, so we've got a lot of that budget still left we could use for the donations. So that's what I mean, it's not running out of anything else, it's not going to hinder us in any way.
Okay.
So as I said, there's quite a lot left in there, isn't there?
Yeah, we haven't spent the full budget. Great. Clyde, can I ask, are you happy to amend with that figure, or another figure? We need to be quite careful of time.
I'm going to be fairly brief here. I do apologise. I agree with what Stuart said in one respect, but what you're getting at this moment is not actual extraction of shale gas. It's the test drilling, and that's the thing. You don't get anything from that, and that's going to cause a bigger disruption to this area as if they actually are extracting shale gas. But this is for the local inhabitants, the villagers, get nothing from this state. They get all the pain, but they don't get any gain. And it's only at that point, but they might not find shale gas in big enough quantities at Woodsets after they've test drilled, and then they'll leave. But what you've had is 18 months, 2 years of disruption, etc., to the village, and nothing to show for it other than, I say, a lot of pain and whatever else it's caused and suffering. So INEOS have had plenty of time to put their case forward. It's not as if they've not been backwards and coming forward. So to say that it's all one-sided, I can't agree with that. I've followed this from the word go, and it's never been like that at all. And so, I mean, I'll actually suggest, if we've got that, I'd suggest we give £500 to Woodsets against that. Whether anybody wants to second that, I don't know.
Okay, I'll second that amendment. So the proposal, as it stands, is that if I've got you right here, Clive, The proposal is that we show our support and affirm our support for Woodsets Parish Council and Woodsets Against Fracking, and the proposal there is a donation of £500. Are you happy with that?
No, that's fine, I'm happy with that, yeah.
Great.
Do-
Okay,
do
so
that
that's
as possible.
proposed and
That's
seconded.
a recorded vote.
Okay. Any other different points? I know, Ben, you had your hand up. I don't want to cut this
Yes,
discussion short.
I just would like to council caution. I thought that you invited Stuart because the proposal had changed. I thought we were going around the table again, but obviously not.
I think
Well, thank you for allowing me to speak again. I said earlier on, there's a strategic view in this, and I'd hate to be looking into the future of being, for our gas dependency in the country, dependent on Russia and France. That we have sufficient reserves underneath to keep us going in some instances for 150 years or more, and to remove that from our energy sources, I think, is absolutely crazy. We'll leave our country to our grandchildren in energy deficit.
Okay, ladies
Does it
and
have to
gentlemen, without getting into to those.
Clear on the proposal to the amount found in the house towards a cost of 20,000 for their legal costs.
Yes.
Just to be quite clear.
Yep. Okay. Any completely different points? I think we're ready to move to the vote. Now's your chance. Okay, it's proposed, it's seconded. The recorded vote has been requested by Councillor Thornton. All those in favour?
And against?
Carried.
We don't live to regret that.
External meetings.
Regret that.
The borough's town and parish council network meeting. Clive, is that you?
Well, it's 21st of May, I think. Have we had it on thing for today, haven't we?
That's about planning training.
Oh, that's planning training, yeah, sorry, yeah, this is at in the parish hall, if my memory serves. Right, different venue. Again, we're trying to do, I don't actually know what's on the agenda because we've got our meeting tomorrow night at the Parish and Town Council working group. So I don't know until then. So
Just put fly tipping,
yeah,
if we can get it on. I mentioned to Janice when she was sat here and I was nodding.
we will make sure, I think they're looking at, have you got a list of agenda items there?
Well, I think it's fine to mention flight tipping because the subject is neighbourhood policing, but then it says that we've got a great opportunity to talk with the police, community safety, and street team services.
Oh, they've covered all that.
Teams,
So I'll make sure that there's somebody there to address that issue. But we're trying to, as I said, we're trying to make it a bit more varied, the agenda. So we're using Aston as a venue. So anybody that can get there.
Can I just say then to other councillors, it's open to any councillor to go, and it's, in a way it's a bit of a training session on something, because you get lots of information, so anybody who can make it, by all means, come and turn up. I mean, if you don't know where it is, I'll tell you where it is. It's interesting just to see what RNBC, where they're thinking and stuff like that. Town and council meeting, but it gives us an opportunity
Time is at
to
6:30.
speak to them, although it's a bit one-sided.
Please.
So, yeah, by all means, I think regular ones is myself, Clive, Diane, Chris and Michael normally go, but yeah, by all means come. I think it's just for a chin maybe, wasn't it?
Okay, ladies and gents, for fear of keeping to time, I think definitely fly tipping is something. I saw a mattress thrown on the A57 the other day down into Anston Stones. The other thing, I'm not sure if it's
And there's two then, because there's been one on Woodsets Road.
an extra mattress, a double or a single. I'm not sure if it's the right thing to go to to this particular group, but one of the things that I noticed the other day driving down Pennypiece Lane, I'm not sure if this is really planning and licensing, you know, that we've got the new development as you're heading towards the tip. There's the new development on the right hand side. The contractors are putting road signs on the road, and that's causing vehicles to yeah, they've been told about it already. Is it possible for anyone who goes to that to raise that?
I mean, just if I can just give you a minute, I'm in constant touch with the planners about that development. They've had an enforcement notice served on them about working out of hours, getting there an hour early in the morning, causing traffic problems on Pennypiece Lane and Main Street, so it's a constant source of interest, should I say, down there at the moment. We're not quite sticking by the rules of the contract.
Thanks, Clive. 10, Parish Matters, and so Councillor Thornton proposed to put this one into confidential session. 10A.
Yeah, for everybody's seen it. Can I propose that this goes into confidential session? Because no doubt we'll be talking about contracts and legal advice with the city.
You want to discuss the contracts? And
it will come up when I'm talking about it.
Particularly for,
for various things. So can I propose that we put this into confidential session?
Does that have a second? All those in favour? Okay, that's a majority. Right, and B, Councillor Graham.
I've already...
Can I declare an interest in this?
You've already done it.
I can't remember. Oh, no, I'm sorry. No, I've done it. So I've done it.
Can I?
Sure, no.
Fire away, Diane.
If you remember, this goes right the way back to the charity meeting when it was suggested that the bowling club actually went and made a grant for the boiler instead of it being bought by the parish. We actually did make a grant, an application for said boiler. We got a grant to the tune of £571.59, which included the electrics and the plumbing in of that boiler. We, on the back of that, also, with negotiations with the clerk, made applications to level paving at the site because it was uneven and it was a trip hazard. We got a grant for that for £509.99. That enabled us also to put another path on the far wall, which there was no path and people were in danger of actually falling off. On top of that, we applied again, thanks to Clive and the ward grant, and we got another £502.46 to actually put up another shelter so that measurers were covered rather than standing out. In total, we got grants of £1,584 to improve the bowling green. It has cost the bowling club £106 because it didn't cover everything. So the parish has got, sorry, I tell a lie, the grant was £1,477.80 and its total spent was £1,484, the difference being £106, which the bowling club has actually paid out of their own funds. I think the parish council and charity have got very good value for money because all of the work was completed by the bowling club members. One thing that hasn't been dealt with, which could be dealt with, is improving the step access because, quite honestly, the steps up to the hut are causing the elderly, me included, some problems, but we may have to look at that at a later date. So, in total, it's only cost £106 because the grants have come from the ward fund. So thank you, Clive. And well, the ward.
Can I just...
Thank you.
Just see if I can just jump in. Do you want to give an update on the parish hall application as well?
Yeah. The grant for curtains for the parish hall has been approved. I think it's £3,500. That has to be spent at some point.
Stuart?
Yeah, on curtains.
Curtains.
I'm glad we applied for that.
Curtains for curtains.
I'm just going to say quickly, well done to the bowling club for getting the grants. That helps. The 106,000 bowling club contributed, again, well done. The cost, but what I will point out is the cost of maintenance far outweighs what we actually receive in fees. So That's just a point to make. But yeah, well done. Going on the ramp, sorry, quick on the ramp. On the plans we had originally drawn up, there was provision for new ramps. That was one of the big considerations. But that plan, for some reason, just seems to go by the way. So,
Miles?
Huh?
Were you just saying thank you?
No, the same thing. I think it's pretty good.
Great. Thank you very much, Dan.
Can I just add a couple of comments? It's important that with all the grants that the paperwork's followed and all the documentation is there. I think with regard to the parish hall, that needs to be sorted out as soon as possible, because the staff or MBC do check up on, make sure it's been spent in the right areas. Can I just say, and Councillor Ireland's unfortunately, Ireland Junior's not here tonight, and I wish he had been, because I was going to raise an issue that came up at the meeting when we discussed the parish hall application. And I have to say that I was extremely disappointed in his attitude at the meeting, because he started off saying he didn't see any reason why the parish council should be awarded the grant, because they've just put the precept to 25% and raised a load of money. So his view was, and as I say, we didn't take part in the vote, it was agreed by the third councillor who was there, who was not any personal interest like we have to declare. But I found his attitude at that meeting extremely, as I said, disappointing that was the view he took. The truth was that we put the precept up, we've got lots of money, we didn't deserve to have that money. Well, you know, it's not like that. Woodset's parish council have applied twice and been approved funding, once for speed signs in Woodset, which they're waiting for, which is a problem.
Okay.
So we have a Labour council who's unwilling.
I don't want to
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
but that was
We have a Labour council.
Given that we've been here
funding, and then we just manage. Our discretion.
Okay, ladies and gents, given that we've recently been here, let's try and keep politics out for this particular meeting. That maybe so, but let's keep our meetings to. Thank you. Okay. Any action required, Diane?
No.
Noted.
Just to note it, and we have now got an agreement that we can apply for further funding with consultation, and it is likely we will be doing that.
Yeah. One question from me to the clerk, actually. Have you got the plans? So Stuart mentioned the plans. Have you got a copy of those plans?
Yes.
For the redeveloped hall that were drawn up by the last council?
We've got the ones which were drawn up a few years back.
Yes, great. You've got a copy.
Can I just make a quick comment? These walls grants, regardless of who gives them or doesn't, it's actually our money that we pay tax to Rotherham, and Rotherham's giving it back to us. So that's just another point to make.
Correspondence. Rural Services Network campaign. I'm not entirely sure that there's anything really for us to.
Can I propose that we just note this?
Chris, is there anything that you want us to do under this?
I think what we're asking for is support from Paris for the government to develop a rural strategy. So it would be perhaps helpful if you resolve to support that.
Yeah.
Add our name to the list of.
Can I propose
As
a council, we would support the Rural Services Network campaign to develop a rural strategy.
Second that. All those in favour? Thank you. Okay, can we resolve to exclude the press and the public, please?
I propose that we exclude the press and public from the meeting due to the confidential or contractual nature of the items to be discussed.
Second. All those in favour? Thank you.